So when they finally brought him in at 2 hours after he was born, um, I I couldn't see him. He was on this gurney with an incubator on top of it. It had all these tubes and wires and oxygen and everything hooked up to it. It was really scary looking. And he was all wrapped up, and all I could see was like the very tip of his toes and a little bit of his forehead and nothing else. And my mom took a picture with her cell phone and never brought it over for me to look at. And I didn't realize that until the next day, that she never brought the phone over for me to look at and see my son. And but I just remember I'm trying to see him, and I got doctors from the hospital that he's Shady Grove coming over and talking to me and making me sign papers and to get permission to work on him. And I remember at one point my mom irritated me so bad. She was over there making jokes and laughing, and I'm trying to listen to the doctors and what they have to say and sign papers and trying to understand what I'm signing and what I'm hearing. I just got out of surgery. I'm on pain medication, and if it wasn't for the fact that I was on the medication, I probably would have flipped off at the mouth at her because she just irritated me so bad. I was so tired, and all I wanted was my son. And they they finally got everything situated where all the paperwork was filled out, and um, they left with him. And my mom, my stepdad, and my biological father all left. Um, that was probably it was almost 3 o'clock before everybody left, but they finally left, and it was just me and Dave in the room, and we both just broke down and cried. And I couldn't even tell you how long we cried for. It was so long. At least it felt like it was so long. And we both agreed that he would go down the next day, no matter what, and spend the day with Jaden and the NICU down in Shady Grove. And because my mom said she'd be over the next day and bring my family to see me, and nobody got there. I was so upset. Nobody got there until like 4 o'clock that afternoon. I was there all day by myself in my room watching TV and not knowing what was going on, and so depressed about everything that happened. And but that was a very long night. Despite how tired we hardly got any sleep that night. Um, I just remember, and I remember the epidural or the spinal block was wearing off at about. It wore off a lot quicker this time than it did when I had the cerclage done. It seemed like it took all day to wear off the last time, but this time it didn't take near as long. And um, they were getting me up to start walking and get me to the bathroom at about 6 o'clock, I think. And um, I was already starting to feel the pain from the surgery, and I couldn't even describe what it felt like. I can't even describe the pain. It hurt so bad. And I didn't have any qualms taking the medication they gave me. I was so happy they offered pain medicine. Um, and I had on this girdle type thing to help keep me together while my stitches were holding, so my stitches would hold fine. And nobody tells you about that stuff. It's horrible. The bleeding is horrible. Not just from the incision, but from down there after you've delivered, and it's messy, and you're messy, and all you want to do is take a shower, and you can't right away. All I could do was use some baby wipes to clean up, and I felt so nasty because I hadn't had a shower since the morning before, um, and all I wanted to do was take a shower. That's all I wanted to do. But I remember getting in and out of that bed was horrible. It was painful, and I cried every time I got out of the bed to go to the bathroom. And um, I don't know what else I could say about the surgery. I mean, it definitely was not what I expected. I did not have a regular incision done that they normally do for C-sections. They normally do a bikini line incision, which is a horizontal incision across the belly at the bikini line. I had a vertical incision that went from about 3 inches below my belly button all the way down to my pubic bone, and it looks nasty. I'm not gonna lie, it looks horrible. I hate it. Um, I cried for the first week about that incision, and um, it's weird because on one side, because I had to cut through the nerves on one side of the incision, I don't feel anything. I can't feel anything at all. There's about an inch gap between the incision and where I can feel touching. I can feel pressure, but I can't feel the actual touching, and it's so weird. On the other side, I can feel everything. There's nothing wrong with the other side of the incision. Um, but this that happened on Thursday. Friday, Saturday, they gave me the okay to go home, and I convinced Dave to take me down to see Jaden that day, after I got released, and I was in so much pain, but I didn't care. I took 2 Percocets, which were kicking in just as we were getting into the NICU, and I remember going in there, and I cried as soon as I saw him. Because he was hooked up to all these machines and this big tube thing that came around his face, and I couldn't see his face, and he looked so small. And he was small. But he looked even smaller with this thing on his face, and I just kept apologizing to him for not being able to do what I was supposed to, and that I was so sorry that he had to struggle, and if he was in any pain. I know we didn't stay there for very long. Because I was just getting wore out really quickly, and his nurse Bambi, she ordered Dave to take me home, and um, I got home, and it was horrible to sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was so upset about him being in the queue and being early, and I was still in a lot of pain. And